Coming to you live from the It's Funny Studios. I'm Doug.
I'm Greg.
And this is Mike.
And this is the It's Funny That Makes It Okay podcast. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Here we are, the 12th of December, or somewhere thereabouts, depending on when you're listening to this.
That's right.
The middle of December.
It could be May or June or something.
Well, it could
for some
be. And if
people.
it is, Happy May Day. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there.
Pick a holiday.
Yes. But for us, for right now, we're deep in the heart of Christmas right now. Greg has...
Are we in Christmas present or future or past?
We could be in all three of those at any one time.
We could be.
Greg has gotten out his Yule log, and Mike and I are shining up our jingle bells, so it is really, really becoming festive. Quite festive.
What is a Yule log?
I don't know.
Well, if I've got one out, I want to know what I've got.
You've got it out. He took it out. His Yule log. Another Seinfeld reference.
Yes.
Very timely. It was only 30 years old. Maybe 25.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Here we are. So I think Mike has something up front, but I'll kind of run down here. We'll talk a little bit about holiday cheer, or maybe not so much. We're going to decide. I got a couple little stories about that we'll delve into. Then we're going to get into Christmas past again, kind of wrap that up. We got some toy stuff. I want to talk about a few traditional things that kids get now that maybe we did or didn't have back in the day. And then we have a little game we're going to play, real or fake. Is it real or is it fake?
I could use a Seinfeld reference.
Go right
there.
ahead.
No, I'm not doing it.
It might.
It's real and it's spectacular.
It is. You know, the ones that are real, some people think they are spectacular. Some people not so much. But you'll have to see what we're talking about.
That's right.
So stay tuned. Everybody's riveted. We have our studio audience. So let's keep it down now, everybody.
Quick, flip the applause sign on.
All right.
It's okay. All right.
So I think, Mike, you're going to kick us off today. So let's go ahead and just jump right in.
I've got a couple stories here that I thought were kind of interesting as we wrap up the year. Now, be honest with me, guys. Have you ever gone goblin mode?
Goblin mode? Gobbling or goblin?
No, goblin. Like the little munchkin people.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Oh, come on, guys. Don't lie to me.
I don't feel like I have.
I don't feel like I have either, but maybe.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll find out because Oxford Dictionary chooses goblin mode as word of the year.
Goblin mode.
Goblin mode.
Yep.
That's a different word than I heard.
Well, this is the
actually,
Oxford Dictionary, so that could be a different dictionary.
And, you know, we just did, a little bit ago, we did a slang segment.
Yeah.
I don't recall goblin mode.
I've never
Being
heard of
slang.
that in my life.
To be honest with you, me neither. I don't know if I've gone goblin mode.
Does anyone out there know of goblin mode? All right, I'm having way too much fun with this. Sorry, go
Doug's
ahead.
become our new sound.
Sound effect.
Yeah.
I've only got 4 buttons, so we may get some inappropriate noises at the wrong time. Well, and we've got the yodeling pickle. There we go.
Well, that's a blast from the past.
Except that thing just it yodels forever.
Yeah, no, we won't do any more yodeling. We'll just
It's a long yodeling
lay him there
pickle.
on the table.
Long you.
All right, so goblin mode.
Goblin
Goblin
mode.
mode.
So the article starts out, it says, every year, in an outdated effort, major dictionaries ask people to pick a word or phrase that they think sums up the year.
Crap.
Well, this year, voters picked goblin mode. And this, again, Oxford Dictionary says, it defines the term as a type of behavior which is unapologetically self-indulgent, lazy, slovenly, or greedy, typically in a way that rejects social norms or expectations.
It's all those things?
And that's
Oh, yeah.
the word of the year.
Goblin mode, I guess, is kind of 2 words of the year, but
I have never heard of that.
I can't put together in my head how that relates.
basically, and it makes sense when I go in this way, this is all starting because of COVID. Basically, when you're being lazy at home or whatever, essentially that's what we're used to with COVID, and you're goblin moding, I guess.
Okay.
All right.
Unapologetically lazy, self-indulgent, greedy, in a way that rejects norms and expectations.
Then I don't think I do that because
It says, given the years we've just experienced, goblin mode resonates with all of us who are feeling a little overwhelmed at this point, says President Casper Grathwohl.
Overwhelmed
Casper
from what?
Grathwohl.
What are we
We're
overwhelmed
all
from?
overwhelmed.
What are we overwhelmed from?
Staying home. All the COVID
being
people
lazy,
stuff.
being
Staying-
super lazy, and having DoorDash bring us food while we binge watch something on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon.
We continued working throughout COVID.
Yes, we have not.
I did not
goblin
goblin mode at all.
I can't wait to go.
I
goblin
can't
mode.
either. I'm going to go all goblin mode on this next year.
As a matter of fact, I should get double the goblin mode this year.
I should. Okay.
I think they need to work those into work packages. You know, when you get hired on to
Yeah.
places, how many goblin days can I take?
Yeah, you got
take a few
5
goblin days.
goblin mode days. All right. Can I roll those over?
One other thing I thought was kind of worth pointing out in here, it says the origin of the term is odd. Boy, you don't say. Goblin mode went viral last year, according to the New York Times, thanks to a satirical tweet featuring a fake news headline that quoted the actress Julia Fox saying that she and Kanye West broke up because he didn't like it when she went goblin mode. So there was a lot. I don't even know what to take away from that part of it, but apparently it's a satirical tweet with a fake news headline that spawned the next year's Word of the Year.
Wow. I've officially fallen out of hearing the
There we
things
go.
that go viral because I've never heard of that.
I haven't either.
Pretty soon, all the dictionaries are just going to be the urban dictionary,
That's it.
basically.
I think if you're
long.
a boomer and you've got a cell phone, you're only allowed so much information of new terms and things. So I don't get those
It's
anymore.
filtered out.
Yeah. I think I've got the
Maybe
boomer,
it's a translator, the boomer
filter.
translator. Whenever it sees goblin mode, lazy.
Yeah. I don't have
Disgruntled.
Siri. I have Ethel. Hey, Ethel, what's goblin mode?
What?
Yeah. Clean your room.
I did want to point out one more thing here. It says the term won 93% of the votes cast, with the other two finalists being metaverse, which, okay, I feel like I've
heard that one.
That one I've heard
right?
at least.
And the other word is a hashtag. It says hashtag I stand with. So that's 3 words and a hashtag. It's a hashtag. It's not a word. I don't
Well, it sounds like a
understand.
phrase. I stand with but I guess if it's a hashtag, it would all be
And
one.
what are you standing with? Anything? Everything?
Yeah, just whatever.
I don't know.
What if you don't stand with?
I stand with goblin mode.
I stand with hashtags.
Well, apparently if you go goblin mode, you don't do a lot of standing.
Oh,
so
maybe I should
True.
sit. I sit with goblin mode.
There we go. There we go.
I sit with.
Yeah.
I lay with. Recline.
So if my
Recline
boss
sounds more lazy than lay. I recline.
So if my boss walks by my desk tomorrow and I'm just I'm lounged
Yes,
back,
you're-
can I just say I'm in goblin mode?
It's like, aren't you doing any work? I'm goblin mode, man.
Let us know how it goes, Greg.
Yeah.
Tired of the man keeping me down. That's super old sounding too.
Gobble gobble.
Goblin.
Oh my gosh. I got one more story here. This one caught my headline because I feel personally attacked.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, I got kind of passionate there with that one.
Oh, I did. And so the headline of the post, you're probably like, what are you talking about? But it says, Shark Week lacks diversity is a real headline from the Washington Post. So
I heard about this.
again, we're at this point, Doug says it at the end of every episode. Don't get offended or caught up on stuff because we're running out of things at this point to be offended
Obviously,
by.
no one's listening to me.
Well, it says the Washington Post has a bone to pick with Shark Week, and then it says in the article, especially white guys named Mike. Wait a second. What does that have to do with me?
We have found the problem.
So I was like,
I don't even know if I can be in the room right now.
I know.
well, I'll go goblin mode upstairs, and you guys can finish in the studio here. I was like, how does this connect? What do I have to do with this? So from the Washington Post, a little snippet of this says,
Is there a shark named Mike?
well, maybe. I don't know. But it says in the post, it says, Lisa Whitenack loved sharks as a kid. She spent rainy days leafing through a guide to sharks in the Reader's Digest, as one does as a kid. She says every summer she would watch Shark Week, which is Discovery Channel's annual TV event. I think that it's like in July. That spotlights the ocean predator with 7 days of dedicated programming. But when the scientists appeared on her TV screen, she didn't see any women she could look up to. Why would I know I could do that? White Knack said. I don't come from a family of scientists. And I didn't see very many people that look like me on television. Like, okay, whatever.
Like
but then
women?
it goes, yeah. Well, then it goes on to say, White Knack led a team of researchers to examine. So this is years later. Now she's examining hundreds of Shark Week episodes that aired between 1988
She's in goblin
and
mode
2020.
on the Shark Week episodes.
I think she went anti-goblin mode. She went all in on them.
Oh. And it says their research claims that Discovery's programming emphasized negative messages about sharks, which made me laugh because we had the stories. Remember,
Yeah.
it's not an attack.
No.
It's an encounter.
It's an encounter.
They just want to give you a hug.
That's right.
I love
He's
it.
encountering the crap out of me right now.
That's right. So again,
My arm's off. He's encountering me so much.
Yes.
we're trying to tone down the shark. I don't know.
Violence.
Yeah, it's just like
Misconceptions.
whatever. Yeah, there we go. We don't want to misconstrue the shark's actions.
That's right.
But then this is where it gets good for me. It says the programming again emphasized negative messages about sharks, lacked useful messaging about shark conversation, and overwhelmingly featured white men as experts, including several with the same name. The programming featured more white experts and commentators named Mike than women.
Wow. I don't know about you, Greg, but I feel personally attacked. Just sitting here, I don't feel safe in the basement anymore.
I feel a little attacked.
And all I took away from this is, man, I went into the wrong field. I need to go be studying sharks.
You should
right
be.
now.
Look at all of the mics you have to look up to.
We'd be a school of mics
You would.
studying sharks.
You would.
Are there sharks in Washington?
Not that I'm aware of, but you never know. Sharknado.
Card shark.
Card shark?
Yeah, that's land
Pool shark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could
Yeah,
be different
land
sharks
shark.
out there. You can explore those,
So
but be careful.
I don't know. I feel attacked.
You should.
But like one of the other points I wanted to say, wrapping up, is it's Mike. The name is like we're a dime a dozen. You go into a store.
It's like the most popular name of males, or had been.
You
I don't
call
know,
out
still is.
Mike. There's going to be like 10 guys who like what? It's like we're everywhere. We're not special. I mean, we are, I guess, maybe, but the name itself, we are a dime a dozen. You're going to get Mikes everywhere. That's
You're
just how
all
it is.
offensive. Every one of you.
We're combining together to make one giant
One
offensive.
giant mic.
One
Yeah.
giant mic. There are a lot of mics in the area.
There are.
Yes, sir.
And you know what?
I know
think,
several.
I
Yes.
think I'm going to make
We do too.
a mic. I'm going to get all the mics together. And I think we're going to combine our offensiveness.
We have seen the enemy, and it is us.
It is mine.
It was me.
Well, I'm going to get Kevin the Jackdaw to come and was it Kevin or who was Kevin?
I
Was
think Kevin was the turkey.
That's right. Kevin was the turkey.
Yeah.
was
He
the
was
jackdaw?
terrorizing.
Jackdaw?
He
I
was
can't
like,
remember.
He was like the pimp turkey.
That's right.
He's
With the
got
females.
Yeah. It was Chad.
There was
Might have
Chad.
been.
Chris?
I can't
I don't
remember.
remember. But anyway, the
We'll
Jackdaw.
find out.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
When's
I feel,
Discovery going to have Jackdaw Week?
I wouldn't count on it because you know how many mics they have on there talking about sharks? They'll never get past anything else.
No, they will not.
Well, Mike could branch out and talk about them.
Oh, no,
Turkeys, jackdaws.
We never branch out from sharks. It's just sharks and Mike. That's all you get during Shark Week.
all Mike, all the time.
I got the Mike Plus channel. So I subscribe
Ooh.
to the Mike Plus package. It's only Mike's talking about everything.
Now, only Mike's, that gets into weird territory.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you know
I'm
what
not
you're doing.
subscribing to that.
I did it with an accident. I can't unsubscribe now. I've canceled 3 or 4 times. They won't let me.
That's how we get you in there. We just
Welcome
want to
to-
encounter you on only Mike.
Right. Only Mike's. That's a whole nother thing. Yes, right. Only Mike. I get
Only
it.
Mike's.
I'm a little slow. Woo! I don't want to go to the Only Mike's channel.
It's not bad if you get, if you ask me. But I might be biased.
Mike's all in. Hey, maybe you can make some money. The Only Mike's fan. Oh my goodness! All
Anyway,
right.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Well, would you stop, screwing up the world, please? Mike?
Yes, please.
It's bad enough. We don't need you to come and make everybody feel bad now.
Well, I'm doubling down. I'm going even more Mike than I was before.
Even more Mike. I'm even more Mike.
That's right.
I love it. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I got a couple little things. First thing, this is very random. A lot of times when I read news stories, I know I'm going to go have to read the comments because they're going to make me laugh. And today I read a news story, and it was this girl out on the front porch of her house, and she's screaming. And her mom comes out there, and there's a rabid raccoon attacking the girl. It's wrapped around her leg.
Holy cow.
And the mom reaches down, grabs the girl, puts her under her arm, grabs the raccoon by the scruff of the neck, picks it up, shoves the girl through the door of the house, says, get inside, takes the raccoon and just wings it out into the yard. The raccoon just looks all befuddled when he gets done.
I mean, and it wasn't just like a toss. I mean,
No,
it
she
was,
flung it.
that was like Uncle Rico. I mean, that raccoon was a football.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
It was a good throw.
Yeah, she flung. But the little girl was screaming at the top of her lungs. And as I'm reading through the comments, some guy put, that sounds like my kids when their internet goes out.
Yes, it's true. It's very true.
I don't know. It just made
true.
me chuckle. And the other thing is I saw.
Well, and that's the adults too. When the internet goes, that's just not the kids.
yeah,
That's the
it really.
adults, too.
Yeah, this is high pitched, shrill scream. My internet's out.
Oh, and I just got some breaking news.
Uh-oh.
It was Derek the Jackdaw.
Oh, Derek
that's
the
right.
Jackdaw. I like that. Yeah, Derek. So the other thing I got is, I know we're not on Facebook week, but we are in the holiday week. So I saw this ad on Facebook for Christmas at the courthouse over in Pekin, another nearby town.
That's where I want to spend my Christmas.
And so it says, join us for Night of Merriment, Christmas at the Courthouse 2022. Pictures with the Grinch, refreshments, and meet President Lincoln.
Wow. Now that is newsworthy. If you're going to meet they got President Lincoln to come for the Christmas program?
You know,
we
I
keep
always
him
thought
a-
of Abe as a holiday president.
I remember when I was a kid, we'd put out the big stovepipe hat, and he would put little presents in it for us. Coal, a slate to write on,
Yeah, because
tickets to the theater. Oh, was that too soon? I'm sorry.
I think it's
Are we okay?
passed
We
long
allowed to
enough.
joke?
Yeah, I think it's passed long enough. But it's like, yeah, it's got an animated Santa Claus. It's got the Grinch. And then it's like this real looking picture of
A reanimated
Abe. It's
Abraham Lincoln.
It's like, it's all on a green background with red letters and lights, and meet the president, meet Abe Lincoln. So
He sit on his lap and he
He's-
said, 70
Yeah.
years ago.
I was about to say, wait for the sequel for the Emancipation.
Mr. Lincoln, I would like, you'll get freedom. Oh.
Hey, when he's done there, do you think we can keep him around for a little bit?
maybe.
I would hope so.
I don't know if Mary Todd was with him or not, but
I don't know either.
when I saw that poster, I'm like, Grinch, Santa Claus, Abe Lincoln. That's a Christmas thought right there. Abe Lincoln slid down the chimney.
A Christmas divided on itself shall not stand.
Yeah,
seems-
it's,
As the Christmas train rolls around the different neighborhoods, Abe's on the back of it, giving little, stomping speeches at the different
Every
towns.
stop.
Yeah. I remember the Christmas of my youth.
Come watch Mr. Lincoln rail split. Woo! All of the Christmas festivities. He'll wrestle you at the end. He was a known wrestler, so
Yes. So, anyways, I saw
Wow.
that. I was like,
that
well,
is amazing.
an interesting.
I feel like we need to go.
it was
let's see
it was last weekend.
Oh,
So Abe's already left.
well, you spoiled it for the listeners. They wouldn't know. They would think we could have went.
Oh, well, we still could.
We could make something up.
We went.
We did. It was
It
fantastic.
was great. Abe was awesome.
Oh, it was great.
He
did
caroled.
axe throwing. It was just amazing.
We Christmas caroled with Abe.
He didn't know any of our songs. but
No.
He went all goblin mode and just laid around.
Well, he looked at me and he knew I was a Mike, so
Oh.
he's like, "Hey, you got to get out
Yeah.
of here."
thought-
I'm not
he
doing
kicked
any
me
more
out.
Mike stuff.
Yeah.
He
Get out.
thought the Mariah Carey Christmas song was a little weird.
Yeah, don't we all?
Oh, so Abe and Christmas. There you go.
There we go. All right. Well, let's move on to some holiday cheer.
Let's.
And I'm going to apologize right now for my cough. I was at a customer's today, and they have a ton of paper dust, and it was a printing place, and I'm a disaster. My sinuses are killing me. So I'm going to try to get through this.
I noticed you were coughing up little clouds of paper dust.
Yeah. I've coughed up a notebook. I feel like I've inhaled one today. Got a couple here. We got some Christmas traditions. Man and woman, and his mother always has a big Christmas get together. And of course, they have Christmas cookies. That's a big tradition. And so she asks for people you're going to bring your Christmas cookies. So, let's see what happens. So it says, for every holiday, my mother would ask the women in the family, my sisters, sister-in-law, my
That's
wife,
sexist.
my female cousins, to send samples of the desserts they plan to bring for the celebration, to test them to see if these desserts could make it to the food menu.
Wow.
But despite her best efforts, his wife's dessert have consistently been rejected year after year.
This kind of reminds me. Is this like the cooking competitions that you watch, Greg?
It's similar.
Maybe this is maybe Greg's
They
doing
get an
hour. It says, for this year's Christmas, my mother is doing the same thing, but
I've
this
been
time...
DVRing the daylights out of those.
Says, but this time she told every woman who's participating to make a cookie sample and send it to her for testing. My wife took it as a challenge to be honest. She worked really hard to make it a good sample and sent it to my mother days ago. And the results came in yesterday. I picture it like, kids waiting to see if they get accepted to a college. I can't read it, open it. Well, when he returned home from work, he found his wife crying because her samples was yet again rejected by his mother. Now his wife is refusing to go to Christmas. The two began to argue, with the husband calling her unreasonable to decide to bail on the whole family over some cookie samples. In a later edit, he clarified that it wasn't just her desserts that was rejected, but also his sister-in-law and younger sister's desserts as well.
So Mom doesn't want anybody to bring
Due to
his.
this, now his sister-in-law has decided not to go as well because of the dessert issue.
It sounds like Mom might be the problem here.
So, and some of the people did complain in the comments that it was sexist. Why weren't the men? The men probably rejected the men. The mom probably rejected the men's cookies summarily. Didn't even test them.
Yeah.
Like, what is this garbage?
Yeah.
You're out.
We know you can't cook.
So I'm reading this. My first thought is, like, who made her the cookie judge and jury? Like, this is you have to submit your cookie, and I will taste it to see if it can get placed on the menu. It barely made it, Mike. It's on the very bottom of the menu, so it could fall off, but it barely made it.
I'm there.
That's right. Your Abraham Lincoln cookies were delicious.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Doug, your cookies were atrocious. You're off the list. So this right here, there's a
Well, you
couple
made it
things.
from Spam figgy pudding.
Yes,
Oh,
they were delicious.
Gosh.
I
worst.
understand if you're going to have a kind of a potluck, or you're going to have a Christmas dinner, and you want to ask people, hey, what cookies are you bringing so we don't have duplicates? Okay, maybe, fine.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But if somebody said you need to submit them so I can test them, I'm like, you know what? Then forget it. I'm not even going to bring my stupid cookies to your celebration. And I'm going to call out the husband right here. I don't know where you guys stand. I think he's a complete jerk. This is kind of a Christmas, am I the a-hole version,
Yes,
I guess.
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
It is from Reddit, so this is on a website called Your Tango, but I did see that it was actually pulled from Reddit. But if you are married to a woman, in my opinion, that woman has now become the top woman in your life. Not your mother, not your grandmother. It's your wife. And if somebody is going to be mad at me, I would much rather it be my mother. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening. I don't think she is, but than my wife. I mean, that's what
you have years of practice of that growing up.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like second nature.
Yeah,
basically.
and
Yeah.
odds are my wife is going to be mad at me anyway at some point every day. But I don't want this to be the reason for it.
no.
And I would just go to my mom and I'd say, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, we're bringing these. What would she do if I just brought the cookies?
Right.
I'm bringing my wife's cookies.
Well, that's why
I love my wife's cookies.
they need to nip in, but we're not even participating in sending them in, sending samples.
No.
I'm making a batch of cookies and I'm bringing them.
Yeah. If you don't like them, guess what? I'll set up my own table over here. And you're not allowed to have any of my Christmas cookies.
There you go.
I'll have my own Christmas dinner. And you're
My
not
Christmas
invited.
cookies are delicious. They're real and they're spectacular. I read that. I was like, you have got to be kidding. I don't know. I've never, I would not submit samples.
No.
I've been involved in lots of different potlucks. I do quite a bit of the cooking. My wife does a lot too. But if we're having a potluck or we're going to one, my wife will put together a menu and say, here's what we're bringing. What is everybody bringing? She just asks, like, just put it down and, so everyone can see this. Oh, we have this. Because you don't want like 14 potato dishes. I mean, I would eat 14
If I
potato dishes.
I might eat that.
But you need to
In
spread
a
it out.
bind.
Somebody has to bring a vegetable. It won't get eaten, but it needs to be on the table.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We got the vegetable on the table. The singing
the
cucumber.
singing pickle. The yodeling pickle. Oh my goodness. All right. So the other one that I have is we have a mother. Now this one's a little more nuanced. This is from the New York Post. It says Carolyn Dudridge is 63 and she charges everyone for Christmas dinner, including the youngest of grandkids.
Man.
Cough it up, Jimmy.
The mom of 5 and grandma of 6 is charging it. So I'll read this out. I'm going to read the whole scenario and I'll see where you guys land on this. It says the mom of 5, the grandmother of 6 is charging adults up to $18 for the meal. Her 12-year-old and 9-year-old grandchildren have to pony up $6, and her 2 3-year-old grandchildren are being charged $3.
Where are the 3-year-olds getting money?
Now here's something. She charges the adult women less because they have families and work part-time.
Okay.
We'll get back to that. It says, I log onto my bank account and check who has made the Christmas dinner payment in November, she told the Sun of her annual tradition. Once my naughty and nice tally is done, I do a quick ring around chasing my delinquent depositors and remind them to meet their payment date of December 1st. The widower and pensioner said her 5 adult children, aged 37, 34, 32, 29, and 24, are all used to getting the reminder by phone. I know some will moan and give me the excuse my pay hasn't gone in or my bank account is frozen and I can't leave it another week, or can I leave it another week? But I eventually received the cash from them for the meal. Dudridge started charging for the Christmas dinner in 2016 and has since become part of the family tradition. Immediate relatives are used to it by now. Some people might think it's harsh to put a levy, this is from the UK, on meals for the kids, but it's an important life lesson the older grandkids like to try and offer to help me to earn some of the money back, and I admire that. She said she spent dozens of hours scouring grocery stores for the cheapest and best deals, especially with the price of groceries skyrocketing this year. Every week my meal budget buys less and less, so I have to be tactical in buying ingredients to make dinner for 12 guests. Said she receives about $1,200 a month in her widower's pension. Her husband passed away in 2015, cutting her expendable income in half. In order to help with the Christmas dinner, she told her kids she was starting a Christmas kitty jar, asking her 2 boys to put in about $2 a week and daughters about $1 a week, but it was hard to get the children to do it. So then she came up with this pay for the meal. So
Wow.
there we go.
I turned you in for collections.
You're like barred from future
Yeah.
family get-togethers until you pay up your Christmas fees.
There's interest.
Now
and
here's
fees.
yeah, and I feel like if I had to pay for this, now this is one where I feel like she should have to. I want to come over for a sampling of what's going to be put out there. I want to know what I want to taste it, and I want to know what we're eating. What am I getting for my $18?
Yeah.
First off, and then if I'm paying too, I'm not cleaning up. I'm not bussing the table. I'm not doing dishes.
You have to leave a tip.
I don't have to.
It depends on the service.
Yeah.
The service is good.
If the service is good, I might throw in another 10, maybe 20%.
Maybe
We'll
that's
see.
how little Jimmy.
We'll see.
Maybe that's how he pays his $3. Little Jimmy's got to go. He's got to go bust the table,
Yeah.
wash the dishes.
I was 3-year-old. I was like, I know you lost 3 teeth this year. Give me that money you got from the Tooth Fairy.
And this is sexist because she's only charging the women half of the rate. I mean, they have families that work part-time. Well, if they're working part-time, then they have a little extra cash coming in. Pony up and a little more money.
Man.
I don't know. Where are you coming down on this?
That's a no-go.
I mean, I get that her income got cut in half because her husband passed away. But wouldn't you at that point say, hey, we're going to make this more potluck. You guys each bring something. Now, if they all say we don't want to do that, say, well, then I need you to go in on the groceries. Okay, that I could see. But it would need to be a voluntary amount, I think. I don't think you can say you're $18, you're $16, you're $12.95. You know.
And I actually that's exactly what I had written down. Potluck, or I'll pay some of the bill, or why don't I cook the dinner?
Yeah.
Or I'll bring the main dish, then I'll help you out.
Let's go out for Chinese.
Of course, then it sounds like a bunch of her kids are kind of deadbeat. Their account's frozen. They don't have a check in there.
Well, they're goblin
mode.
Yeah, they're goblin modes.
Get with the time.
This world is going to hell in a handbasket.
One thing I thought of, though, at least she was upfront about her bill, right?
She was upfront about it.
As opposed to one of the Thanksgiving.
Yes. Where it was
AITA.
a surprise after they'd already eaten.
Yeah.
Then you get a bill.
Yeah. So if I'm going to be charged, I want to know up front. So like we said, we can make a decision on how to approach it. I don't want to be footing a bill later after the fact.
Yeah.
No, but
I go to my mom. I've got a coupon. I get 20%. I get 20% off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gift certificate from mom's house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she finishes up saying, I love the joy of Christmas and all the family
But I want to
together.
suck the fun out of it.
But it's now become so commercial, people get overwhelmed, and it's too much. A nice family meal and a gift made with love is all you need. As she bills them, how do I get in on this commercialization and make my 2 pounds of flesh from you? Says that she isn't the only one making the family pay. Other people have started this as well. And they did a little poll, and according to the Sun, 58% of the people surveyed said that they thought that she should charge for it. I'm out on the charging. You don't charge. You can say, hey, listen, times are tight, times are tough. I don't know what we're going to do.
Can we potluck, or can we all chip in?
Or you know what? Don't make a huge meal then. Do finger foods. Do snacks. Do cold cuts. You know what you got to do. Anyway.
Starve in the street.
Yeah, we don't care.
At least I'm not paying for it.
That's right. That's right. So, all right. Well, that was it. So, holiday cheer with a question mark. I don't know. I don't know if it's holiday cheer. Neither one of those were real cheery. I think I will give this. I have more sympathy for the mom who is charging for dinner than the woman that is wanting you to submit your samples for her.
I agree.
Menu.
Yeah.
I would pay for the dinner before I'm submitting samples. I'm like, no. I'm just going to bring my cookies. You're going to get whatever.
Yes, please don't submit any samples.
In fact, I would just bring them anyway. I would just pony up. I would just make a big box of them and bring them in.
I might make
and
double.
I would confront her right there at the Christmas dinner. And I'm going to call her out and I'm going to make her tell me that I have to take my cookies home.
Or bring the cookies and say, I'm sorry, you don't get any of these.
That's right. That's right.
I like the conviction there because that's how I felt about the Mike story. You know what? Double down.
That's right.
You bring, like Greg said, you double that recipe.
That's right.
You bring them, and that's the only thing you're bringing. You
Yeah.
know what? And if people eat them, let the chips fall where they may.
That's it.
The chocolate chips.
I'm bringing the ones that failed the sample test. I'm not making new ones. I'm bringing, here's the ones you didn't like. Double batch, bringing them all in, putting them on a platter, and I'm just going to sit them on the table. I wouldn't even say nothing to her. I'll just sit them on the table, and I'll make her look at them, and I'll watch and see if she tries to pull them off of there. And then I'm calling her out.
It probably does turn out that the daughter's a lousy cook and the cookies are terrible.
Could be.
But then just say it. Just
be.
come out and just say it. Like,
Still,
look,
and
Your
her husband
stink.
is a panty waist though. You got to stand up for your wife. You got to stand up for her. You cannot let that happen.
You cannot.
Or you can, but prepare for a miserable
Existence.
6 months. You won't be getting any of your wife cookies either.
No, you won't.
So good luck with that. All right, well, let's move on. We had this segment last week. We're going to try to finish it up, kind of toys of Christmas past and just Christmas past in general. But I don't have a whole lot with this section because I wasn't really into toys during this. We're going to get in the 80s, 90s, maybe the 2000s, Mike, if you've got some.
Yeah. In the 80s, I was in my 20s, so I don't have a lot of toys.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a few. I don't know if you want me to say a few or
go ahead.
Well, the first one, the big one that I remember in the 80s, and I remember my cousins, my aunt and uncle going after this, and the Cabbage Patch Kids.
Oh, yeah.
The big draw, just trying to get out there. See, Amazon has, I don't know if you want to say ruined, but that trying to get the perfect toy, you'd have to go to store, who's got them in, who's got this in. Now you just get on Amazon, you order it, and it just shows up at your house.
Well, yeah, the
part is
of the
gone.
fun. Yeah, part of the fun was going and finding the gift.
Yeah. Fighting with people, raining blows upon blows down
That's
upon
right.
their heads while you steal the box that they have procured before you got there, shove it in your cart and run into the front of the store.
Yeah. Can't do that on Amazon.
No.
Get in a clicking
missed
war.
that
Get in a
part.
clicking war with somebody. I'm getting that last one.
I
Click,
missed
click, click.
that part.
Clicking war.
The other one, and I was a little older for this. My brother had some of these, but Transformers. Transformers were real big. He had Megatron, the gun. That was kind of cool because the gun it transformed into a gun. He had a couple other ones, and then the other big one I remember. I don't remember. I think this came out in the late '80s, but Nintendo. I like Nintendo. But my parents were like, "You're too. We're not buying a Nintendo."
Yeah,
we had
I
the
got
Atari 2400.
Yeah, I got the Nintendo in 1990, and they gave it to us. I was a manager at a Walgreens store, and they did a contest, and they gave us one.
Oh, nice.
So, and I think they had been out for a couple of years at that point, but yeah, so around 90, right around there, 89, 88.
But those are really the only three big things that I remember from the 80s, early 90s, Mike. So
Yeah, when I looked up real quick before you
Go
get
ahead.
going, when I looked up toys of the 80s, one that they had in the 80s that I think might have been pre-80s because I had this, unless, I don't know where, but Simon. Do you remember Simon?
Oh, yeah.
You had the colors and you try to do a memory thing. And I had one of those. So
Red, yellow, blue,
I feel like
green.
that maybe was earlier than the 80s, but it showed up on the 80s list.
Maybe it came out in the 70s but didn't get like real popular until the 80s. I don't know.
Yeah, unless I had one as an adult, which is very possible.
Or you had a time machine.
That could be too.
You went forward and grabbed one and came
Yeah,
back.
yeah. Me and Abe Lincoln, we went together. Yeah, and then as we get, and you'll probably get more into this, but as we got into the 90s and 2000s, I had kids, and so I can remember some of their toys.
Yeah.
But, obviously by that time I was playing the Nintendo once in a while, but that's about it.
Yeah, my son said we ruined his childhood because we wouldn't get him Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't remember not getting him Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or why we wouldn't have got him that unless my wife didn't like the violence or I have no idea. But he said nope, he never got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and his childhood was ruined. So
the counseling's helping him with that?
Yes. Not much though. Every parent ruins their childhood somehow, and that's how we ruined our son's life.
Yeah.
So
All right.
I'll turn it over to you, Mike.
Okay. I'll start with some of the 90s ones here.
Giving the 80s a miss.
Well, you guys got that. I didn't come along until 96, so I'm a little bit after.
Oh, you're
that.
after that.
You get
Okay.
a pass. You get a pass.
All
Starting off with kind of like big stuff here in the 90s, right off the bat, Beanie Babies was very popular.
Those were huge.
And those are kind of like Cabbage Patch Kids, kind of in the same category there. And along with those,
Especially the ones that when McDonald's was giving them out.
Oh,
I remember the lines
Well, people
through
just
the
went
drive-through.
bonkers
So I
for
didn't
those.
interrupt
No,
you,
no,
but
no.
I didn't know if you were going there or not. But I remember they were in Happy Meals and adults were fighting over Happy Meals and trying to get the certain Happy Meal or get the Princess Di Bear. That's going to be worth a lot of money. Yeah, everybody's. If
I'd always get the
everybody's
wrong
getting it,
one.
I never got any Beanie Babies. So
At McDonald's, I mean. I want the dog. Okay. It's a bear. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, no, yeah, Beanie Babies were huge. Kind kind of along the same lines too. Do you guys ever remember? And these were just one kind of offshoot of this, but the Doodle Bears. They were like an actual
White,
stuffed animal,
weren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
and you had like special markers you could draw and color on the bears, and you could ink them up, whatever, and then you just throw them in the wash. You'd run the wash, and the ink comes off, and then you kind of like reset them, and then you can doodle them up again. There were a couple different ones of those.
Did you have one?
I didn't have the bear, but I had. It was kind of like an offshoot. It was like a little monster version of it. But it was the same thing. You'd take the marker and you'd color on it.
I think this explains why millennials are so into tats now, though, too. I think this will explain it. They're all tatted up. They want sleeves, and we didn't get much. When I was growing up, tats were like sailors and Hell's Angels.
Yeah.
And maybe the rough woman that worked at the bar. That was about it. Those were the three.
I don't want to look like that.
Yeah. So now it's everybody. It's a youth pastor.
Well, you're Doodle Bear.
My
it's not
hairdresser.
It's not as easy to just wash off, though. I thought I could reset it, but now I'm stuck.
Yeah, you throw yourself in the washer 2 or 3 times that way.
Going the extra heavy load there.
That's right.
Furbies were also kind of along the same line. Those were pretty popular. This one always kind of creeped me out, and this is growing up. I loved Sesame Street as a kid. Didn't care so much for this, but the Tickle Me Elmo.
Oh, that was one of those insane ones that people.
I think my son had a Tickle Me Elmo.
See, now Sesame Street, like as a little kid, was like my favorite show, and I had an Elmo doll, but it was not a Tickle
Elmo.
Me.
You know what?
Emo.
I don't think it was a Tickle Me Elmo. I think it talked, but I don't think it was a Tickle Me one. It would say things. I don't know.
Those always just, I don't know. There's something about those kind of weird. Some of the other stuff I had on here. This one was. Oh,
sorry.
Go ahead.
This sounds like it's. Yeah, you want to Tickle Me Elmo?
No.
Yeah, Tickle Me Elmo.
I was thinking Tickle Me Emo. It's a little goth bear or something.
Elmo's a little edgy these
Yeah.
days.
Or Emo Phillips.
Yeah.
The other day, I came. Comedian.
Yeah.
These were huge though. Tamagotchis.
Oh, yeah.
It
Or
was
Gigapets, the same thing.
Same thing.
Gotcha.
It was like a little egg thing, or a little device that you hatched from the egg. A little monster thing.
Yeah, and you had to take care
You
of
had
it.
to take care of it. You had to check in on it. You do so much with it.
I will hug it and squeeze it and name it George.
Inevitably, they'd all die because you didn't take care of it in time.
Yeah,
but
or the battery would die on it.
or the battery would die. Yeah. Tamagotchis, man, those were huge. And then they had different. I remember they had different like colors that could kind of determine what your little monster or your little Tamagotchi guy would be. So you could like collect different ones, and it was a big thing there for a while.
Yep.
Kind of along with that, the Game Boy Color.
Oh, yeah.
And the original, like the PlayStation, came out there. Game Boys were also ones, the Nintendos, I guess, that we had.
Yeah, we bought my son a PlayStation.
Yep. Some
I
classic
said that
games
he was
on there.
2, and my wife's like, "What do you?" I said, "It's like
Yeah.
it is not for you."
He'll learn.
He'll grow into
He'll
it.
have it for.
I'm
we'll have it
going
for a
into
long
goblin
time.
mode.
Yeah. Yeah, lay off. I want to go goblin mode with the PlayStation. Some of the other stuff here. Do you guys remember? I didn't know this was actually what it was called. Do you remember the Texadog?
No.
Texadog? Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. I might still have this pulled up here. It was like that silver little robot dog that would kind of
Oh,
walk
yeah,
around.
Mom
yeah.
had one.
Had a little bone that you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I do remember that robotic little dog.
My mom had
Yes,
one.
she did. Somebody got it for her for Christmas.
Yeah,
Oh.
probably in the 90s.
Yeah. It would bark and it would learn.
Yeah.
Sit and walk around.
While you're looking that up, I had a couple thoughts on a couple, because ones my kids had during the 90s. American Girl dolls were very popular. Polly Pockets,
Yep.
little teeny.
Little.
Yeah. The game Jenga came out in the 90s.
I never cared for that game.
It's still kind of weird, but
We
it got
played it, but I was
popular.
like, I don't know. Okay, you're pushing. I get it. And it
pulling
falls
sticks
down.
out, pushing
I don't know.
sticks. I mean, I'm
Kinda
building
like
a log cabin.
pickup sticks. Kind of a cross between, let's say, Lincoln Logs and pickup sticks got together
Oh,
and had
Lincoln's
a baby.
I was
That's
about to
Lin-
say, Greg, is that what you played with Lincoln?
Lincoln Logs.
Yeah.
Yeah. We built cabins together. Over at the Pekin Courthouse, we're building
Good times.
Not a Yule log.
Not a Yule log.
No.
And not Lincoln's log either. Lincoln logs.
Yes, Lincoln logs.
Well, this is what I was.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
Not that the listeners
Yeah,
can
my
see.
So
mother-
what's it
mother-in-law.
called again?
Hold it up to the
Well-
microphone. There we go. See?
Oh, yeah. Much clearer.
It's called Texta. Texta.
Oh, I had no idea what it was called, but I know it.
Yeah.
It kind of like the same color. Kind of remind me of. Did you ever watch the TV show? You probably did not. In the late 70s, early 80s, Buck Rogers and the little robot.
Yeah,
Twiggy,
yeah.
Twiggy,
What was
Twiggy,
that? What was his
Twiggy,
name? Tiki
Twiggy,
or
Twiggy.
Twiggy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twiggy, Twiggy, Twiggy. If he had a dog, it would look like this.
It would.
I had one.
Another
I feel
timely
like.
reference.
Yes.
Some of the other stuff here, Talk Boys. I think they were in. They're like walkie talkies, but you remember? I think it was Home Alone. One of the Home Alones. He used them. The kid used them.
Talk boy.
Talk Boy.
I can't picture it.
Okay.
They're
hold on.
walkie talkies, or
Yeah, that kind of a thing. Oh, sorry, technical
now kids just get
issues.
smartphones
Yeah.
at like 6. I would
Tablets.
Not. I would not.
Voice
get my kids
recorders. That's what they were. Voice recorders.
any. Okay.
They were something like that.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Here we go. Talk Boy was conceived as a cassette recorder from or based off the 1992 film of Home Alone 2.
Ah.
That's why
Okay.
that connection. So Talk Boys, Bop It's,
Bop it.
Oh yeah, we had a bop it.
big there in the 90s.
The game Bop it?
The game Bop It.
Okay, yeah, man, I played the daylights out of it.
Twist it. Pull it.
Bop it. Yeah. And it was like, twist it, pull it, bop it. Twist it, pull it, bop it.
Super Soakers. Do you guys remember Super Soakers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had some of those.
We had those.
Yeah.
Those were fun. And kind of here, rounding out the 90s, some of the last two I had here were Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah.
The animated trading card game, animated cartoons to kind of match those were real big there.
My
towards the
son
late
had a
90s.
binder of Pokemon cards.
So did I. I think just about almost every kid had
Yeah.
Pokemon
And
cards.
some of those are worth a lot of money now.
Yes.
We made him get rid of them eventually, so anything that
He
was of
sold them-
value.
He sold them at a garage sale for 25 cents
Yeah.
for a box of them, and now they're worth thousands of dollars.
It's like me with my, 60s and 70s baseball
Oh, yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
Put them in the spokes of your bicycle so
Yeah.
it sounds like a motorcycle. Cool. I'll get another Mickey Mantle. It ain't a big deal.
That Hank Aaron rookie card flapping in the spokes is awesome.
Well, did you guys have 2000s? Because that's all I had for 90s
No,
toys.
I did
No,
not.
go ahead.
Okay. I'll start off.
Once again, didn't play with toys in the 2000s.
I probably played with more
I was
toys in the
30.
2000s. Well, with my son, we get it and play and stuff. So go ahead.
Well, some of the tech things here, kind of evolutions of previous stuff. So, like, the Nintendo DS was kind of the next step up
Yeah.
from the Game Boy. And the Wii came out, I think, 2006.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was another very popular
We
Christmas.
had a
Which
Wii.
is still in my arsenal of
My brother still has his, too, that he got
Yeah.
way back when. And the original iPod was in early 2000s,
Yeah.
too. So iPods were coming on, which
Shuffle
is also weird
and,
to think about.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I
Those have
first
been
saw
around for a
those, I
while.
thought, this is stupid.
I did too.
It's like, how am I going to put music on this? It's like,
Well, the first ones didn't have a display or anything. You're like,
No.
what is? It's a cube. What am I supposed to do with this?
oh, how far we've come.
Yeah.
As I threw it back down in disgust on the counter and
Yeah.
went to the cassette area
Yeah,
and bought
give me-
some more cassettes.
Yeah. Give me my cassette deck.
This is never going to go out of style. Well, they got the CDs. That's pretty good. I'll buy that.
Well, as long as you have your Talk Boy, too. You can always record on that.
Yeah.
Some of the other stuff here. Do you remember Beyblade? Did you guys ever
Who?
see those?
Beyblades?
Yeah,
They
I
still
heard
play
of
with
them.
those.
They were, I had these. They were like little rip spinners.
Yep.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And they had an arena. If you knocked the other ones out, then yours won.
Gotcha.
That kind of a thing.
Yeah, it was funny. This I was at this event and this girl was playing with one of those, and I said, "Hey, is that a Beyblade?" And she looked at me like, "How do you know that? Like you're ancient. How do you know that?"
You're not supposed to know.
Yeah, don't talk to me.
You can't know that. One of the other things here, I forgot to mention this one, kind of along with the tech stuff, Guitar Hero.
Oh, yeah.
my
Guitar
goodness,
Hero came
yeah,
out. Yeah, that
yeah.
one was, that was so much fun. You could hook up multiple. You could have like 3-4 people playing Guitar Hero, and then they had the band version come out.
And the
That was
bass
really
player
fun.
would quit and get fired by the lead guitarist. And
The keyboard was just all tracked.
It was all
Hit one
tracked.
button and that was
yeah,
it. It just
yeah, it was just blanks on the screen as it came down.
You had the one person who could always show off too. That was
Yeah,
always better than
I was
everyone
never
else.
very good at it.
Me neither. Razor scooters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Those were
remember
very
those.
big.
My
too.
son had a Razor scooter.
Yeah.
And in addition to those,
I had a razor.
well, probably wouldn't be very.
It wasn't a scooter.
No,
Shaved my beard with it.
Heelys. Those were around in the
Who?
2000s.
Yep.
Heelys.
Yep.
They were the shoes with the
little
the
wheel
wheel
in
Oh,
it.
okay, yeah.
towards the back.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember just about at one point there, every kid had those and was riding those around in school.
Oh, I know they were huge. I
Going-
still occasionally see those.
Seriously?
Yeah, I
I
saw.
feel like they haven't been making them.
I saw a
for a
kid
while.
recently on a pair of those.
There must be new versions.
Maybe
or
he's a
something
retro
coming out.
kid. I don't know.
Maybe. Some of the other stuff here, I had Bratz.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
We had-
little
I had
dolls.
nieces that loved brats.
Were they brats?
Probably.
Okay, so if we were thinking about what was it, Text-a-Dog, did you guys ever have the iDog?
No.
No,
Okay,
I've never
so-
even heard of that one.
Okay, so this one was like a speaker that could play music, but he looked like a dog. So I'll kind of pull up this one. And his face had like lights on him that would, change according to what you were playing. So here's iDog. He was a little speaker.
I kind of remember
And
something
his,
like that.
His head would tilt and he'd kind of make barking noises, but he was like a
Okay.
little speaker for you.
Okay.
That one I didn't have it, but I remember it being like a kind of a fad there for a little bit. Robo Sapien,
Nope.
you know that one? Okay, I'll you'll recognize
See, we
it.
had vertibirds.
Let's see if I can spell it. There he is. Robo Sapien.
I got a rock.
Here we go. I'm sure you guys will recognize him.
This Mike throws his
Throws
phone
my
around the room.
Yeah, he was like a little remote control.
I kind of remember those two. Yeah.
Robot guy.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
yeah.
He could
So
control
Mike
him.
just showed us a picture of a robot-looking
We'll have to
all
share the
white and
picture.
black.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It looks like the new killer robots they have out now.
Real ones.
the updated versions. These jump and chase you now. But yeah, he had like hands that you could like walk. You could like move him around with the tracks on his legs, and he could go up to stuff and he could pick up stuff.
Yeah.
you could
Okay.
control him
Yeah.
that way. So he was fun. Bionicles, I had those too. Do you remember
I've heard
I
of
do
them.
remember Bionicle.
Lego spinoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of turned into a
Didn't they have like little plastic globes and things like that, and or little circles
Yeah.
or circles and
I think so. I just remember they were kind of like action figure Legos. Is kind of the best way I would describe
Okay.
those. Roboraptor, Roboraptors.
A lot of robo stuff
Yeah,
in the
it is.
90s and 2000s.
It was like that awkward stage. It wasn't quite techie enough, but there was some cool stuff out there.
Isn't that funny? Now you're saying we're in 2022. You're saying a lot of robo stuff in the 90s. I was thinking that back in the 70s too. Oh, there'd be a lot of robo stuff in the 90s.
Yeah. Like real stuff that would help me, not toys.
Flying cars. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
Sidewalks that move.
Yeah.
Car would fold up into a suitcase. I just walk in.
Yeah. It's weird.
I didn't know it'd be more like the Flintstones than the Jetsons now somehow.
No.
But
Another game on here, in addition to Guitar Hero, was The Sims. The Sims
Yeah.
came out.
Yeah.
in
Oh, yeah.
2000s.
I remember
Yep.
The Sims.
And now that one has branched off into a number of other Sims
Because who doesn't
games.
want a game where you simulate real life and being
Well-
depressed and losing your job, having to find an apartment? You don't have enough money to furnish it. This is great. Just teach you how depressing your life is going to be in just a few short years. I can't wait to grow up. Don't ever. Why would you want to grow up?
Well, sometimes, you just want a goblin mode. You don't want to do stuff, but you would still want to have a little bit.
My Sim's in goblin mode. He's lays around on the sofa.
Yeah. I told you to get up and do something.
Get off my back, old man.
Lay off.
Come on, you're just a game.
One of the, I think to me, this was like if I had what do I want to call it? Like a fidget thing early on. These guys, water wigglies. I don't know if this is
I
actually what
remember
they were
those.
called.
You couldn't hardly hold them in your hand. They'd go flinging out.
It was kind of a if
like
I
a
had to
balloon
say-
full of water.
Yeah.
But it was like
and you
tubular.
could move the two, like you could make it stretch further, but it would loop back around
Yeah.
itself. That was like the first fidget toy I could think of, like as a kid,
I remember those.
having those. But really, I mean, it's about what I had. Oh, one other thing too. I think this might have been more 90s. But it was the insect. It was kind of like the Easy Bake Oven, but with, I think it was Creepy Crawlies is what it was called.
Well, there were creepy crawlies back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay,
They usually
well,
came in
yeah.
a box of cereal.
Oh,
They were like in plastic. You'd open them up. The creepy crawl, were they the things you threw at the wall? They would.
no, these were.
I was thinking things you eat.
So you don't eat these. At least the ones I'm thinking
well,
of.
maybe you're right. I don't know.
It did have like a little oven thing that you would, a heater, basically the heat lamp on it. But you get a mold with the bugs you were going to make, and they had like the gel or whatever.
Yeah.
You scoot it, like you could make the different color combinations for your bugs.
It would be rubbery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then you'd put it in the heat lamp, and it'd come out. It's kind of like the concept of an Easy Bake Oven, but non-edible.
Oh, okay, but non-edible. See, I think
Yeah.
in the 70s there was something. I think it was called Incredible Edibles, and it was like that. You had this pan thing you would open up and put the goop in there and heat it, and then you could eat them though.
Yeah,
it'd be like a gummy worm or
I
something.
don't think you'd want to eat these, but Incredible Edible sounds like a marijuana shop. That
It
open up
probably
downstairs.
is now. Dude, I got some Incredible Edibles.
But that's really all I had for the toys. That was a kind of a fun nostalgia trip there.
Yeah, trip down memory lane.
All right. Well, that was it.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, traditions now, they have one of the things that people, and they kind of, I've noticed there's kind of two camps. There's not a lot of lukewarm. I know a lot of people that hate this, and there's some people that like it and have a lot of fun with it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The Elf on a Shelf.
Ah,
Man, it is.
yeah.
It's a
You'll
craze.
see people.
We
and I
never
think
did
the
that.
adults are way more into it than the kids because they try to do all kinds of weird stuff and take pictures of the elf doing things and post it out there.
If I was a kid and my parents didn't do this with us, but if they did, I would have been creeped out.
I would have too.
Some of the lengths. That
I don't
people
like
go.
dolls, so I'm already out on that.
Yeah.
We did not have any of that. I mean, my parents didn't like, you better be good or the elf will see you. There's not one elf on a shelf. We had welt from a belt. So if I was bad, my dad would take off his belt and you would get some welts on you. He's like, well, you're not getting a gift now. You're not getting a Christmas present. And if you're bad, that was it. So I knew, like, I'm not going to screw up because I got to have Christmas. But there was, I don't know, you have anything else with the elf on a shelf or?
Man, some of the stuff though I've seen, the
It's very
lengths that
elaborate.
People, like I saw just the other day, there was one that there's a whole scene. It's like the parents must have been up all night doing this stuff. Like it was a scene in the kitchen. They had like the elf was supposedly cooking something, baking something. There were flower tracks that they like painstakingly took the foot of the elf and made tracks all around the house with flour. But then the funny thing is that like the elf disappeared into a closet or something. And if I was a kid, I would have been creeped out. It's like, where is this thing? Like, is this thing moving around the house? Like, what's he going to do? Is he gonna show up in my room?
It's
Where's
amazing
this
the
thing going?
extremes that people go to with that thing.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what the exact, other than the elf is mischievous and gets into trouble, but somehow that keeps the kids from being mischievous. So the elf destroys my house instead of the kids, which is basically me making a mess for myself that I have to clean up later.
Right.
I don't get it. I don't understand. Maybe I'm getting something wrong too. That's very possible.
It's funny. I was looking up Elf on the Shelf on Facebook. So I was thinking I'd seen something today, but I can't find it. But I did find a Snoop Dogg Elf on the Shelf.
Snoop on the stoop.
Faux shizzle.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
He's full goblin mode all the time. He's not doing anything. He's not getting in mischief.
We need to get him
There
in the
are
studio.
probably some incredible edibles with him.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure there is.
We need to get one of those in here.
A Snoop Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah. So
Snoop on a stoop. Yep. That's what it is.
Yep. I had heard that before.
another thing I was thinking too is and we kind of touched on this last week, but the Christmas light displays and they have like the Festival of Lights and things now as well, and towns will put them on. But just personal Christmas light displays are insane anymore. The stuff they do.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some on Facebook now or YouTube where they do them with drones.
Yeah.
And I mean hundreds.
Oh, yeah. Drone shows are cool.
Hundreds of drones. How much money do you have to put this on every night? Or however many nights. But yeah, hundreds of drones. And it was fantastic. It was cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you got, like $100,000 to put into your light display?
Yeah, I mean, those drones in of themselves are hundreds of dollars just for one drone.
Yeah. And
Well, then you got
hundreds of
software to
these.
run them, and you got, yeah.
Yep.
But when we were kids, I mean, it was maybe once or twice, mom and dad say, hey, let's go look at Christmas lights. So you jump in the car, you take off and try to find a station playing Christmas music.
That was fun, though.
Yeah, I loved it. And you
Nice
drive
heated
around.
car.
Oh, yeah. But you would maybe see that place has two strings of lights. Look at that one. That was blinking.
Yeah.
It's blinking. Go back around.
They've got color lights.
Colored lights, blinking colored lights. What?
Oh, the car broke down.
They must be the rich family. Holy cow. This is incredible. And every once in a while, you would see some kind of like a nativity scene that they made out of wood with a light on it. It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
But that was the big thrill, the big draw.
Yeah, they have gotten a lot better.
Yeah. and then as far as like Christmas activities, like you guys had the Christmas parade and all this stuff now that they have for kids.
The
They have different
infamous
places.
first annual Morton Christmas Parade.
Then they have places like reindeer farms and stuff where you go and they have pedal carts that look like go-karts and hot shot. I don't remember any of that as a kid, as a young kid.
No.
Maybe, I mean, the biggest thing is you go cut down your Christmas tree. You go to the farm, but it wasn't like, maybe the guy in there had like coffee and a Swiss Miss, like hot water, and you put your Swiss Miss in it. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
There's your Swiss Miss.
I'm sure my dad didn't think so, but Christmas shopping was a lot more fun then. He would
agree.
take us and we would find gifts for mom or our brothers and sister. And
Yep.
Well, one of the things too, like we did with our dad, is we went to what's it called, the Toyland at Farm and Fleet.
Yeah.
Yep. And we would kind of like go looking around, pick some stuff out or whatever, or even like the Black Friday ads. I know those are still kind of a thing, but
yeah.
they're like here's the big, like the Toys R Us one, whatever. Circle your stuff. And
But going to the mall, that was a huge deal. We hardly ever went to the mall. My dad hated it, but at Christmas time, sometimes we would go to the mall and just go to the mall to see what displays they'd have set up, because they'd set up displays in the middle of the mall, the little animatronic elves, and if you were lucky, the big thing was you got to see Santa.
Yeah.
Maybe you got to see Santa.
Then you're terrified to sit in his lap.
Well, I just went, but my brother would scream.
Got
and
a
Now
holler.
it's not so
got a
bad.
screamer.
My brother would scream and holler bloody murder, so we'd never get to do that. But they also had a shopping center at Bergner's, and you showed pictures of this. They had the Bergner's Christmas tree, and it was a huge
scary
tree.
talking.
It was, but I always liked it. It would talk. It had like eyes and a mouth that moved, and there really was a person that would sit in that tree and greet each customers that would come in.
You get a candy cane.
Yep. You get a little candy cane, and you could go up and they would talk. It's like, well, what's your name? And you'd say, it's like, oh, hi, Doug. What do you want for Christmas this year? I was enthralled. Like, how is this tree talk? How does it know? This is amazing.
Well,
I want therapy from this talking tree.
Now you're
It never
lucky.
bothered me. I thought it was kind of cool.
I'm kidding. It didn't. No, it's fine.
Some kids were freaked out by it.
And that Bergner's was a good store anyway. They had that, and it was just a nicely decorated store and stuff. Sorry.
No, I mean, it's like now you think about even, because it was kind of this, I don't remember the tree, but it was kind of the same like when I was a kid even. But think about it now, it's like you go to the mall, you're lucky if your store's even open, if there's just staff in there.
Hopefully you don't get mugged on the way out or caught in a flash riot
that is
where they're stealing everything from the store.
Totally changed.
You can buy Zoom with Santa now.
Oh. It's a filter. It's not even somebody taking the effort to go and dress up. It's a filter.
Yeah.
And probably for me, the biggest thing, which kids now, they will never understand this. They will never know it. But one of the big things coming in, usually right before Thanksgiving, you would start looking and you would start to have to schedule your TV time for the specials that were coming.
Oh, yeah.
Because you only got it once. The Grinch was on once.
Yep. Rudolph
was on once.
Charlie Brown
was on once. And then they had like your more like, I don't know if they had a Frosty the Snowman or some of
Or
the
Santa Claus is coming
some of
to
the
town,
other Rankin Bass
Yeah.
programs that would be out there. The
Mr.
lesser known
Heat
ones. Like, all right,
Miser.
I'll watch those. But they were on one time, and that was it. And if you were out, if you knew, oh, this is coming on Tuesday or Wednesday, and you'd hear your parents like, we're going to go shopping Wednesday. Like, no, we can't go shopping.
No.
Can we go somewhere other time? Nope, this is it. Like, oh no, I'm going to miss it. Kids nowadays, it's like they can watch it when it's July. I want to watch The Grinch. All right, hit the button, and there it plays.
So one thing, too, I'm kind of glad you said this. I've got a couple points, so I can save it, too, if you had more.
No, go right ahead. That was it.
So to this day, and like as we were growing up, my mom still watches the classics.
I still watch them.
On
yeah.
TV, like as
Yep.
they're still going on. So I remember I kind of had the same thing as a kid because it seemed like they were coming pretty fast and furious too. It's like you'd get like maybe 2 1 week, 2 the
Yeah.
next week. But now I also have to say, I think how many Grinch movies has there been? There's like
have
4
no
Grinch
idea.
movies.
Or, I don't know, yeah.
They're all awful except for the original.
The cartoon.
Yes.
Yes.
Those are like the best. All of like the new stuff is just awful. See
Yeah.
now, my wife loves it,
The
but
new stuff?
the Jim Carrey Grinch,
Oh.
that's terrible. It's
I
awful.
She
hate
likes it?
Yeah,
I don't
think
remember
so.
if Courtney did or not.
She prefers it. It's her preferred version. And
See, my
I hate
grandkids
it.
like the newer, even
It's a cartoon
one again.
Yeah, it's-
And
We
they were
need the
watching it one
classics.
day, and I gotta admit, it was kind of. It had the screaming goat on there. It was kind of funny, but
But where was the screaming goat before?
it wasn't in the original.
See,
Just the dog.
Just stay
the,
with the class. You don't need to redo them.
No,
you
right.
don't need to redo
Those
come up
them.
with something new.
Rudolph as the I don't know what you kind of call that animation style or whatever.
The
but
claymation.
Claymation,
or the-
yeah. Oh, perfect. The Abominable Snowman.
Oh, yeah.
coming out in that version. It's like, man, this is great. as a
Yukon
kid.
Cornelius.
Oh, he was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this real quick and see, because this was what would tell you if I've got it right. And I haven't played this before, so hopefully this is gonna
Uh-oh.
work. Okay. Yeah,
Maybe some editing.
you
Yeah.
knew right then because it was special. It was rotating around as it was playing that music. You're like, I'd be in the other room, you hear it, you're like, oh, it's probably a cartoon.
Yeah.
I'm going in.
Yeah. Yep.
And sorry, that's all I had on that. But yeah, we just keep the good stuff. Stop making these terrible.
Yeah. So yeah, it was
new stuff.
It taught you patience. You had to wait for it. You had to plan. A lot of my childhood was planning around what was going to be on TV when.
Now it's, do I have that streaming service?
And a lot of it, even Christmas commercials were a big deal back then. They started playing the Christmas commercials.
Yeah.
You have the Hostess ones that would pop up there. The little Norelco with the Santa on the
razor.
riding on the razor. That was a big deal. Love those commercials.
Yep.
Yeah, the Christmas commercials were great. So, all right. Anything else before we move on?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, let's move on to the last thing. We have a game, and I have not played this game, so I get to play as well. I'm going to go through. I found a website, and what they're going to do is they're going to give us an actual name. I think we've got 10 of a Hallmark movie, and we have one of 2 options for its description, and we've got to pick which one is the right one. So I'm going to read the 2 descriptions, and then you're going to tell me if it was description 1 or 2, and then we'll find out. So here we go. Select the real plot of the Hallmark. Let me try this again. Select the real plot of the Hallmark movie Christmas CEO. First, number 1. A profit-hungry toy maker attempts to merge her company with a mega toy company, but it is faltered by her ex-partner's refusal to sign the merger agreement. Or number 2, when Santa falls ill, his daughter and North Pole Inc.'s HR rep must take over his business duties and act as CEO.
I've got a guess.
I've got mine locked in.
Well, tell me. Go. I don't know what it is. I'm going to hit submit once we all. So go ahead and tell me. I'm going to.
I got number 1.
I had number 1.
I'm actually going 2. I'm going number 2.
All right. Number 1 is the correct one.
All right. And there was much rejoicing.
Yes. All right. Select the real plot. Never kiss a man in a Christmas sweater. I think you could just stop it at never kiss a man for me. But that's me.
My preference.
Never kiss a man in a Christmas sweater. A recently divorced mom takes a cynical Grinch-like house guest for the holidays to raise money for charity in need. That was one. Or a woman must find a way to reverse the Christmas curse set upon her after cheating on her fiancé with a man in a Christmas sweater.
I'm going number one. That got kind of dark there, Rob.
Yeah, I think I'm going one as well.
And I went one as well. And that was correct.
Yay. I almost went against the flow, but I didn't.
Select the real plot of the Hallmark movie Cranberry Christmas. The married owners of a cranberry farm must reconcile their business differences when they are forced to work together on the Cranberry Christmas Festival. Or, after a freak weather event ruins their crops for the year, a couple must turn their cranberry farm into a bed and breakfast to make ends meet.
Ooh, this is a tough one.
Yes, it is.
I'm going back number two. I have strong conviction this time in number two. But this one's close.
I'm sticking with one again.
Ooh.
I also went number two, Mike. It was one.
No
Yes.
way.
All right.
It had to be number two. That was the perfect plot for a Hallmark movie.
It was a good plot. That was a tough decision.
Okay. This one, A Shoe Addict's Christmas. My wife probably knows this one. A Shoe Addict's Christmas. A magical pair of shoes transports a woman to Christmas past, present, and future to help her take new chances and discover the true spirit of Christmas.
That sounds very familiar.
When a pair of shoes once owned by Mrs. Claus are stolen from her, a shoe lover pairs up with a cynical detective to locate them.
Shoot, these are getting tough.
Yes, they are.
I'm going number two. I gotta go number two.
I'm going to.
And I went two as well. No, it's wrong.
Oh, are you serious?
What, every one of these won?
I don't know.
Man.
So the real one was a magical pair of shoes transports a woman to Christmas past, present, and
That's
future.
just like Scrooge.
I mean, I know.
It's weak sauce,
Yeah,
Hallmark.
that one's weak.
Weak.
Man.
Somebody was in goblin
All
mode
right.
when they did that one.
Crown for Christmas. A struggling artist takes a job as a governess of a rebellious young princess, but finds herself developing chemistry with the girl's father, the king. Or, after losing a bet with her childhood best friend, a woman must compete in her town's annual Christmas Queen beauty pageant. Ugh. I know what I got. I'm locking in.
I'm locked.
Am I going again?
Sure, go ahead. I mean, I wrote it down.
Number two seemed too small. It's like the plot seemed too short there, so I'm going one on
Rick?
this one.
I went two.
I went two.
Oh, come on.
Wrong!
Yes!
It's one!
How can it be stinking
Okay,
one
that's-
again?
Are they all? Okay, this is.
I'm only
I
got
didn't
two
do
so
this, so
far.
I don't know.
I've only got two right.
Select the real plot of the movie. Catch a Christmas Star. The daughter of a widower attempts to reunite her father with his high school sweetheart, who just happens to be one of the biggest pop stars on the planet. Or, of course, a workaholic weather woman has to make the choice between work and her family when a major astronomical event happens on Christmas Eve.
This one is two. It
What
has
was it
to be
called
number
again?
two. To catch a star.
Catch a Christmas Star.
Yeah. It's got to be number two.
I didn't get written down
So you
yet, but
put
I'm
two?
going two.
I'm
as
going
well.
two.
I went two as well.
It has to be.
It's wrong.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Come on.
This can't be.
They've all been one so far.
Okay. Select the real plot of the Hallmark movie Pete's Christmas. A middle child tries to change the course of events when he realizes that his horrible Christmas day keeps repeating itself.
It's like Groundhog's Day on Christmas.
Or After prices increase, a frustrated coffee shop owner confronts his coffee bean supplier, but ends up finding himself falling for her.
It's one. This one it's one.
I had one.
I'm going 2.
One.
Come on.
All one? I think it's all one.
I did 2 just to buck the system, and it's like
All right, the Christmas ornament.
1.
We won't even read them. We're just going to... The Christmas ornament.
Oh.
A widow struggles with moving on from her late husband after she meets a charming owner of a Christmas tree lot. Or 2, a father must locate a lost family heirloom Christmas ornament before his mother-in-law shows up for the Christmas dinner.
You know what? Fine. I'll go with number 2 because I think it would be 2.
I don't know.
I know it's going to be 1, but it should be 2.
I'll go with you. I'm going 2.
I went 1. 1!
This is
Yeah,
rigged.
this is rigged because this is, like I said, I did not do this one purposely because I just wanted to do it with you guys. So, and this is what happens when because if I'd have known this, I wouldn't have. I would have just switched them up, wrote them down myself. Select the real plot of the Hallmark movie broadcast. Oh, this time, yeah, we'll just see.
Doug thought about switching it up, going 2 first.
But that wouldn't hurt. That wouldn't help.
Yeah.
No.
Because I would know, and so that would be unfair. So we'll just keep it the way it is. Select the real plot of the Hallmark movie, broadcasting Christmas. 2 news anchors who just happen to be exes compete for the same hosting position on a national morning show. Or, when reports of a Santa sighting go viral online, a plucky but cynical news anchor takes it upon herself to debunk them.
1.
I put 2. There's one. It's gotta be one of these. It's gotta be.
I
2.
thought that. So I'm going 1
See,
this time. Yeah.
number 1, it's all about the love interest this time.
Yeah.
So it's got to be 1.
It's 1.
Yeah.
And the final one.
1.
Sorry, this one's kind of a bust. This is irritating. Select the real plot of the Hallmark movie, Window Wonderland. 2 rival window decorators face off for a spot as a head designer for a department store. Or, after her parents' divorce, a young girl discovers a magical window in her mother's new house that lets her see into the North Pole.
Ooh. See, the plot of number 2 is so much better than number 1.
Right, but it's going to be 1.
But the problem is, every one of these plots is like 2 people in the first one and 1 singular person in the second one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 2 though because
you
it
said
should
2?
be.
I'm going.
It should be number 2 because that is by far the better plot.
I'm sticking with 1.
I just stuck with 1. And it was 1.
Who wants to watch window decorator competitions? Yeah, I agree.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I tried. You know what? Maybe we'll do another quiz next week because I do have another one.
Okay.
It was a different Hallmark one,
I like
and it was a little better.
the different titles.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got another Hallmark one that hopefully will be a little better. So it was one where it gives you a description and we have to decide whether it's a real or fake.
okay.
Yeah.
So I've got
They're all
that one.
real.
Yeah.
They're all spectacular.
1. It's real.
All right. Well, that's all I've got this week. You guys got anything else?
That is it.
Hey,
All the
listen,
Christmas festivities.
all the festivities. We appreciate and thank every one of you for tuning in. Be careful out there as you're running around shopping for Christmas gifts, if anybody still does that, or just going to Amazon and pushing the button and watch out for the porch pirates. Gar, got to keep an eye on them. Keep
right.
them off your porch.
I read on our local Facebook thing that somebody had a couple Amazon packages stolen off their porch.
Yep. I've got the Ring, which does nothing but would tell me that somebody is there stealing it, so I get to watch it happen.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop it, but there we go. But anyway, so hey, thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Hope you have a great week. Relax, laugh a little bit. Don't take things too serious. Life is way too short to get offended. You know what? Cut the mics out there some breaks. I know it seems like they got everything. Things are going their way. They're wonderful people, but they're human just like us. If you cut them, do they not bleed? Now, don't go cut a mic. I'm not telling you to do that.
Yeah, no, Bob or Tony or whatever you want.
Well, Tony deserves it. Look at Tony. No, don't cut anybody. But we hope you're tuning in 7 days, and until then, see ya.
Later.
Peace.
Well, that wraps up another episode. Thanks for listening. Please be sure to subscribe, and you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.